Hello everyone and welcome to Alumni Field, where today the Michigan Wolverines will embark on a doubleheader against the Kent State Golden Flashes, the number 19 team in the country, coming on the heels of a no-hit victory. Megan Betza absolutely dominant yesterday against the Golden Flashes. 7 innings, 17 strikeouts, only 2 base runners, both put on via the walk. The Wolverines today will look to get their bats going against Maddie Huck, a rather inexperienced pitcher in the circle for Kent State. But Kent State will get the chance to get on the scoreboard first, and they will be going up against Tara Blanco. Blanco pitched against Kent State, I believe, last Sunday, and did very well in her own right. Went the distance, only giving up 1 earned run, striking out 13. Maybe a bit overshadowed by Megan Betza's outing yesterday, but the lineup she will be doing it against today, leading off and playing left field, Vanessa Squirsti. Hitting second and playing second base, Kelly Abeska. Hitting third, playing third base, moving over from her shortstop position is Maddie Grimm. Hitting fourth, the designated player Ronnie Linas. Hitting fifth in right field, Allie Luther. She pinch hit in yesterday's game and struck out swinging, as did so many other Golden Flashes. Hitting sixth, behind the plate, is Brooke Dodson, replacing Paige McCrary. Hitting seventh at shortstop, Jade Williams. Hitting eighth in center field, Maria Segletti. And hitting ninth at first base, moving over from third, is Hunter Bransifort. In the circle for the Wolverines, Tara Blanco, a 2.08 ERA on the year, 8-2 win-loss record. She's started 10 games, completed 7 of those, looking for another standout performance today. We're about ready to go. It's a cool day here at Alumni, but better weather than yesterday, as Squirsti looks to lead things off out of the righty batter's box. Blanco winds and delivered in the first pitch. Is a screwball that misses low for ball 1. 36 degrees as it is announced over the public address at the start of this game. Wind blowing in from center field. Blanco winds, the 1-0 pitch on the way, swinging a pop-up foul off the top of the screen on the right side to the back of the backstop. The count goes to 1-1 on Squirsti. Squirsti, the left fielder, hitting 208 on the season, 10 for 48 on the year. Only 1 extra base hit so far. The infield and outfield playing her straight away. Blanco winds, the 1-1 on its way, swinging a pop-up foul again on the right side. This one over the top of the Wolverines dugout on the first base side before it rolls along the fence and is picked up and relayed to Blanco by Faith Canfield. The Wolverines today rocking their blue jerseys with maize trim at the ends of the sleeves, maize numbers, of course, white shorts, blue socks, and the cleats colors may vary. 1-2 the count. Blanco winds, delivers to her catcher, subject, and it is a high screwball that misses for ball 2. Squirsti has started all 19 games for the Kent State Golden Flashes this year. Their record sits at 8-11 at the beginning of this game. Blanco gets the sign, winds, the 2-2, swinging a tapper just past the circle. Canfield charges fields, flips to Aiden Falk at first, and retires Squirsti in plenty of time for the first out of the game. Meanwhile, over at Ray Fisher Stadium, the Wolverines baseball team is looking to rebound from a loss yesterday against the Northern Illinois Huskies. Of course, we will thank all of you who have tuned into the broadcast today. In case you haven't heard, there's a basketball game going on. I know many people watching that, but just leave us on in the background. First pitch to Kelly Abeska, the righty second baseman, misses low and away for ball 1. Abeska went 0 in yesterday's game. Same can be said for everyone else in that Golden Flashes lineup. Did not get on base via a walk either. Blanco winds, the 1-0, swinging a rocket back up the middle, and that is the first hit of the weekend for the Kent State Golden Flashes, and no doubt single to center off the bat of the second baseman, Kelly Abeska. The freshman is aboard, and Kent State looking to mount a rally with the middle of their lineup coming up. Now hitting for the Golden Flashes is Maddie Grimm. The lefty is hitting 298 on the season. Got the lone RBI that Kent State has recorded against the Wolverines this season. This their third game between the two sides. She stands relaxed, holds the bat high in the lefty batter's box. Big cut in the middle, long swing underneath a breaking ball on the outer half low. The count 0-1 on Grimm. Grimm, a senior, started shortstop yesterday. Didn't have her best game, now moving over to third base as head coach Eric Oakley looks to shake up the Kent State bats. 0-1 the count. Blanco winds, delivers. Hard curveball misses high for ball 1 on Maddie Grimm. 1-1, 1 on, 1 out here in the top of the first inning, still scoreless, of course. Infield at as close to double play depth as you can get. Ramirez and Canfield shaded up the middle on the lefty Grimm. Blanco winds the 1-1. Swing and a drive to right field. That is a no-doubt two-run home run, and it got out of here in a hurry. A changeup out of the right hand of Tara Blanco, and Maddie Grimm was all over that one, and she puts Kent State on top 2-0. 3 batters into this affair here in the top of the first inning. That one nearly halfway up the right field bleachers. And yeah, it was out of here the moment it left the bat. Great swing there from Maddie Grimm, who has had the Wolverines number as much as any Golden Flash, I guess that would be the singular, has had over the course of the season so far. That's going to bring up Ronnie Ladinas. She pitched yesterday for the Golden Flashes and was very, very good against the Wolverines bats. Couldn't quite get the W against Betza, however. The first pitch, hard curveball in there for a called strike at the knees, outer half. Ladinas hitting .242 on the season. Probably the standout player on this Kent State team. I guess if you set aside Maddie Grimm, she stands tall in the righty batter's box. Awaits the 0-1, swinging a pop-up foul back to the screen. A screwball in on the hands tied her up, and Blanco quickly ahead in the count 0-2. We will see how well she can rebound from what has to be called a pretty shaky start to this game. Infield and outfield shading Ladina straight away. Kelly Christner not shaded toward either left or right field against the powerful righty Ladinas. Ladinas hitting 8 for 33 on the season. Only 1 extra base hit, so maybe I should hesitate to call her powerful. She holds the bat out in front, shortening her swing with 2 strikes. Blanco winds the 0-2 on its way, swing and a miss. A meek half-hearted cut. Subject, the catcher, flips it down to first base, but it's unnecessary as that ball never touched the dirt. Ladinas down on strikes, and that's the second out of the inning for Tara Blanco. And that's going to bring up Allie Luther. Luther got the start today in right field. She pinch hit yesterday and struck out swinging against Megan Betzer. She stands close to the plate, an open stance, her feet forming a line toward the shortstop Ramirez. Blanco winds first pitch, curveball in there for a called strike. That one caught a good portion of home plate, about thigh high, a good pitch to hit, but Luther looked to be taking all the way. Luther, the junior, hitting .294, only 17 at-bats on the season. Not a lot of bend to her knees in that open stance. Blanco winds the 0-1. Hard curveball, that one misses high and away for ball 1. Your umpires on today's game behind home plate is Brian Haraberta. Down the first baseline is Brett Damaski. And at third base, Mark Sefcik, who, for my money, has had the best umpiring performance of anyone I've seen this season behind home plate yesterday. Probably not saying much, but I thought he did a very solid job. The 1-1 on its way from Tara Blanco. Hard rise ball misses well high, and the count moves to 2-1 on the junior right fielder for the Golden Flashes. Courtney Richardson out in left field will not be in the lineup today. She is shaded deep and maybe a little bit toward the line against the righty. Blanco winds the 2-1. Curveball just misses off the plate away. That one about at the knees, but doesn't catch the zone, and the count moves to 3-1. This game a bit more sparsely attended than yesterday's game. Maybe a few fans opted to stay home, skip the cold, and watch basketball. Maybe they're just listening to this broadcast here as the 3-2 pitch zips in there for a called strike on the outer edge, and the count runs full on Allie Luther. Blanco looking to limit the damage here in the top of the first inning, keep her team in the game. Runs have been at a premium for this offense all season. Blanco winds the payoff pitch. Swing and a tapper back to the circle. Blanco fields, flips over to Falk, and retires Luther by about 12 steps, depending on the length of her gait. That will end the Wolverines, end the Kent State threat here in the top of the first inning. We head to the bottom of the half. 2-0 Kent State lead on the strength of a Maddie Grimm moonshot, a bomb to right field. Whatever name you choose to attach to the home run would apply, as it took a majestic arc to get out of here in the face of a pretty stiff wind. I'd like to thank those of you who have interacted with me on Twitter so far, Stu Burlow and Griffin Hickman. Probably the two most vocal and ardent softball fans out there who listen to WCBN Sports' broadcasts. pretty consistently. Griffin, I think, is at the basketball game. He took a picture of his phone at Banker's Life. He's got softball on for now, but I can't blame him if he diverts his attention later on. As always, you can interact with me while broadcasting on Twitter. It's going to get lonely up here in the booth without a color person today. So just follow us at WCBN Sports, and if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything at all that you like to relay my way, feel free to tweet at me. I will be monitoring that throughout the game. So the lineup today for the Michigan Wolverines, leading off playing right field, is Natalie Peters. Hitting second and playing second base is Faith Canfield. She had 2 hits in yesterday's game. Those were the only 2 hits the Wolverines recorded, and in fact the only 2 hits recorded throughout the entire game. Hitting third, playing center field, Kelly Christner, of course, Michigan's standout offensive performer on the season. Hitting fourth, playing first base, is Aiden Falk, the lefty. Hitting fifth in the circle, Tara Blanco. Same spot she hit yesterday, looking to break out of what has been a season-long struggle for her. Hitting sixth, an interesting switch in the lineup, Abby Ramirez, the shortstop. Hitting seventh, the designated player, Taylor Swearingen. She is hitting on behalf of Courtney Richardson, who is out in left field. Hitting eighth, the catcher, Alex Subject, starting in place of Katie Alexander, who got yesterday's nod. And hitting ninth, the third baseman, Lindsay Montemarano, per usual. In the circle is Maddie Huck, a 7.87 ERA on the season. She's only appeared in 4 games, 10 2/3 innings pitched. Hasn't impressed in her time. Peters, the lefty, starts with a wide stance toward the back of the batter's box. Pitch on its way, she takes, and it's a curveball off the plate outside for ball 1. Infield and outfield in on the slap-hitting lefty Natalie Peters. The wind seems to have died down here at Alumni. Huck peers in to her catcher Dodson, gets the sign and delivers. The 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball. That one ducks low for ball 2. So Peters quickly ahead in the count, has been an on-base merchant of sorts for this Wolverines offense. Kent State rocking white uniforms today, blue pants, gold socks. Blue stripes coming down from the shoulders to the armpits. The 2-0 swing and a line drive down the left field line. That one is hooking, and it lands just foul. Peters misses out on extra bases by about 5 inches or so. She'll be told to retreat back to the batter's box. Good piece of contact. Bit of power on the slap from Natalie Peters. Not something we see from her very often. But it's just a long and threatening strike 1. Peters hitting .381 on the season. Only 1 extra base hit so far. Huck, wearing a protective mask on her face, gets the sign, winds, and delivers. Peters takes, and it's a curveball. That one, a backdoor, catches the outer edge for a called strike 2. So Peters started ahead in the count. Now has to regather herself and shorten her swing with 2 strikes. Holds the bat out in front. Huck gets the sign, winds, delivers. Peters takes, and it's a curveball that misses low for ball 3. So the count full on Peters, leading things off here in the bottom of the first inning. The Wolverines looking to recover from a 2-0 deficit. Plenty of space up the middle if Peters should send it back that way. Huck gets the sign, winds. The full count pitch. Peters takes low for ball 4, and she is down to first base with a leadoff walk. The Wolverines ran rampant on Paige McCrary whenever they got base runners in yesterday's affair. The cupboard left rather bare for the Kent State Golden Flashes. They had a 4-year starter graduate last year. The pegged replacement ended up transferring to UNLV, so they've had to mix and match at the catcher position. The results showed yesterday. We'll see if the Wolverines take advantage today with Faith Canfield at the plate. Huck winds, the first pitch, swinging a line drive. That one bounces foul down the third base line. Carol Hutchins wheeling Natalie Peters around to score, but it would be a phantom run as that ball bounced to the left of the third base bag. Good piece of contact there, though, from Faith Canfield. Canfield locked in, hitting .348 on the season with some pop. Tied for the team lead in home runs with the hitter in the on-deck circle, Kelly Christner. Huck looks in, gets her sign, she winds. The 0-1. Changeup misses off the plate inside, about thigh high. And the catcher, Brooke Dodson, coming out to the circle to share some words with her pitcher, Maddie Huck. Infield and outfield playing straight away against the righty Canfield. Doesn't really show a propensity to drive the ball to either side in particular. Huck back on the rubber. Canfield back in the box. Gets the sign from her third base coach, Carol Hutchins. Huck winds, the 1-1. Hard curveball catches the outer edge, well above the knees for a called strike 2. If there's anyone playing in an abnormal spot, it's the left fielder, Squirty. Made a highlight catch yesterday. Shaded deep and, I guess, toward the left center field gap. The 1-2, breaking ball misses in the dirt for ball 2. Good block by the catcher, Dodson. Peters holds firm down at first base. The crowd, small but vocal today here at Alumni Field. Huck taking her time, winds, the 2-2 on its way, swinging a line drive foul down the third base line. These Wolverines have been peppering that left field corner early against Maddie Huck. She's gonna have to reach back and find whatever swing and miss stuff she has in order to avoid falling into a deficit here against a Wolverines lineup looking to get back on track. This is the spot to do it in. Canfield a wide stance, knees splayed slightly inward, holds the bat high, the 2-2, swinging a ground ball back up the middle, that's a base hit. Peters stops at second base, and the Wolverines have 2 on with nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning, looking unfazed by what Maddie Huck is offering out there in the circle. That one looked like a changeup, about belt high, right down the heart of the plate, a missed location from Huck, and Canfield made her pay. That brings Kelly Christner to the plate. Christner 0 for 3 in yesterday's game, but made solid contact in all 3 at-bats. A line drive stabbed by Abeska at second base in the first inning. She takes the first pitch here, a curveball that misses low and away for ball 1. So her line drive had extra bases written all over it before Abeska made a diving grab yesterday. Her next at-bat, Squirty made a catch crashing into the wall in left center. In her final at-bat, she flied out to the warning track. So seeing the ball well so far. We'll see if she has better fortunes today. The 1-0 swinging a line drive right field. That one's going to drop in front of the right fielder Luther for a base hit. The throw comes into home. They could have had Canfield over at second base. She got a poor read on that ball as it dropped right in front of the right fielder Luther. But instead she opts to try to cut down the run. Missed an opportunity to record the first out of the inning. And now the bases are full for the lefty, Aiden Falk. Falk showcased a lot of power in her career so far at Michigan. Leads the team in strikeouts with 13. An opportunity to drive in some runs here. She takes the first pitch, a hard breaking ball off or on the outside corner for a called strike 1. That one about belt high. Just back forward, Aiden Falk there. Falk, the lefty, hitting against an infield slightly drawn in from where they would like to be. Falk a wide stance, awaits. The 0-1 swing and a tapper foul back to the screen. That one, Falk just got a piece of it and it ricocheted off the glove of the catcher Dodson, and Falk quickly finds herself behind in the count 0-2. The Wolverines, to put it frankly, have been dreadful hitting with runners on throughout the course of this season. You got to figure they'll have the luck and the will to reverse that trend, but Falk behind in the count, not really poised to do so. The 0-2 on its way. Hard curveball misses off the plate outside. A good pitch to waste against Aiden Falk. Just adjusting the eye level, forcing her to think. Falk hitting .302 on the season. Bases loaded, still nobody out. Now the wind blowing from right to left. The 1-2 on its way from Huck. Swinging a line drive up the middle. That's going to score at least 1. Christner takes the turn, or Canfield takes the turn at third, and she will score. It's a 2 RBI single from Aiden Falk. She sent it right back where it came from. And the Wolverines have equalized, and they are still threatening here with 2 runners on, runners at the corners. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. And you could say things have taken a turn for the worse for Maddie Huck, but they weren't even going in the right direction to start for her. Hasn't looked very impressive out there for the Golden Flashes. She's going to need to offer something else to these Wolverines hitters who look to be dialed in to start this one. So a conference in the circle between the infielders, the pitcher, and the catcher. Kent State's center fielder Maria Spagletti and the right fielder Allie Luther exchanging words. Squirsti on a bit of an island out in left field, thinking to herself while we wait to resume action here in the bottom of the first inning. So Tara Blanco at the plate, runners at the corners, still nobody out. And these hits have not been cheapies for the Michigan Wolverines. Hard drives into the outfield, every one of them. Blanco in open stance, stands toward the back of the box in the righty batter's box. The first pitch, curveball misses off the plate away at the knees for ball one. Infield looking to concede the run to Krishner on third base. Aiden Falk not pinch run for over at first. She's still out there. The 1-0 on its way to Blanco. Hard curveball catches the outer edge for a called strike one. The count 1-1 on Blanco. Hitting .211 on the season. She awaits. Huck looks in, gets the sign from Dodson. The 1-1 on its way. Curveball dips down low and away, and the count moves to 2-1 on the righty Tara Blanco. Meanwhile, the Wolverines basketball team trailing 12-8 to the Louisville Cardinals out in Indiana. Huck gets the sign. The 2-1. Hard curveball misses off the plate, away, perhaps maybe a bit high. And the count now 3-1 on Tara Blanco. A walk here would load the bases yet again. Abby Ramirez awaits in the on-deck circle. The sun peering out from behind a blanket of clouds, if only momentarily. The 3-1 on its way from Huck. Blanco takes, and it's a curveball that just catches the outside corner. Not Blanco's pitch. And now the count runs full on the Michigan junior pitcher. Huck stalks her way back to the rubber. Looks in, gets the sign. She winds. The full count pitch to Tara Blanco. Curveball misses low and away. Not near the zone there, and the base is yet again loaded. Now Abby Ramirez at the plate for the Maize and Blue. The base is loaded for the second time this inning. At first, they were unloaded by an Aiden Falk RBI single with 2 strikes. Abby Ramirez now an RBI chance, not the role that you would particularly desire her in, driving in runs as opposed to setting the table, which makes it a little interesting that she was put in the 6th spot in this lineup. Perhaps Coach Carol Hutchins looking for a spark at the beginning and the middle of the lineup as opposed to putting Peters and Ramirez back-to-back in that Slap Sisters combination that we nicknamed. I actually kind of like it, shaking things up if nothing else, and it appears to have gone to the Wolverines' benefit so far as they have yet to be retired here in the bottom of the first inning. Another conference out there in the circle, a Kent State assistant talking to the pitcher-catcher battery of Huck and Dodson. We're about ready to get things back underway. Ramirez comes up to the famed walk-up song Gasolina by Daddy Yankee. It is a classic. It's something she's had for years now. The first pitch from Huck she takes, and it's a curveball that ducks down and in for ball one. The count now 1-0 on Abby Ramirez. Hitting .357 on the season is the Michigan senior shortstop. The infield drawn in against the slapper. The 1-0. Check swing, it bounces off the glove of Dodson, trickles back to the backstop, and a great jump from Kelly Krishner. She scores on what probably will be scored as a wild pitch. It got away from Huck, and if Krishner had any hesitation there, she probably would have been retired. Dodson not too quick out of her crouch anyway behind home plate. The score now 3-2. The Wolverines lead. First base open yet again with Taylor Swearingen on deck. A pinch runner now out there for the Wolverines. Replacing Tara Blanco is number 22, Thais Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a freshman, mostly has been used in this capacity when she has gotten opportunities to play so far. Hitting .500 in 4 at-bats, to her credit. So now runners on second and third. No outs here in the bottom of the first. Michigan already has 3 runs. Maddie Huck gets her sign, winds. The 2-0 big swing and a miss from Abby Ramirez, a curveball on the outer half. Must have been a good look, but couldn't quite straighten it out and put it in play. The count now 2-1 on Ramirez. Infield still drawn in, the outfield straight away. It's a 2-1. Curveball in there for a called strike. That one, I would say dubious. Looked to duck below the knees, and I think Coach Carol Hutchins took issue with it. Umpire Brian Haraberta, not reticent, not hesitant. The 2-2 swing and a tapper back toward the circle, flubbed by the pitcher Huck. Ramirez is going to take first base. Neither of the runners on base will move. She would have had to hurry to get Ramirez at first base. She's got a lot of speed out of that lefty batter's box, but that's going to go down as an error for the Golden Flashes, who have had nothing go right here in the bottom of the first inning. So the base is loaded, still no outs, and Taylor Swearingen at the plate. Swearingen has seen time as a pinch hitter, as a designated player, and a third baseman, and she will see a new look as the new pitcher in the circle will be Janelle Hayes, a senior righty. The scouting report on this Kent State team, they don't really have a ton to offer in the circle outside of Ronnie Ledines, who was phenomenal in yesterday's game, was excellent in her first start against the Wolverines, but unfortunately for her, not able to do enough against a Wolverines rotation that has been a bright spot for the team throughout the course of this season. Meanwhile, on the basketball end of things, Michigan trading blows with the Louisville Cardinals. They trail 17-14. They have the possession. If you thought that I was going to not watch this game just because I'm, broadcasting a softball game, you have another thing coming. Maybe unprofessional, but, it's March. Got to do what you got to do. So Swearingen up with the bases loaded. Hit a pinch hit home run against the Kentucky Wildcats over last weekend's tournament down in Lexington. That accounted for the lone run the Wolverines had against, I think, Megan Prince. Looking to replicate that today. Janelle Hayes winds. The first pitch, curveball, misses low for ball 1. Not a lot of juice on that one. Hayes, left knee bent, right knee straight, looks and gets the sign from her catcher Dodson. Rocks back, slow delivery, the 1-0 swing and a pop-up behind the infield. This one looks like it could be trouble. It's going to drop for a base hit. It's a bloop single for Taylor Swearingen. The runners move station to station, and it's an RBI against a drawn-in infield and a drawn-back outfield. A Texas leaguer for Swearingen. She'll take what she can get into shallow left center field. The base is still juiced, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Alex Subject. The Wolverines, 4 runs on the scoreboard. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. We've been waiting for this offense to get going, and they have been both lucky and excellent here in the bottom of the first against an assortment of Kent State arms. So Subject at the plate, hitting 194 on the season, awaits the first pitch from Hayes. And that's a changeup in there on the outside corner at the knees for a called strike 1. Caught Subject off balance. The infield still rather in against the righty Subject, who's got line drive power to all fields. The 0-1 from Hayes, swing and a miss. A big hack at an off-speed pitch. Good spin on it from Hayes to get that down and away for strike 2. So Subject will have to shorten up the swing, 2 strikes. Still nobody out, bases loaded here in the bottom of the first. Michigan a 4-2 lead. Montemurano on deck. Hayes winds. The 0-2 swinging a tapper foul off the end of the bat. It's going to bounce off the fence in front of the Wolverines dugout. Hayes has got a really exaggerated delivery, really dips low and then brings her glove up as high as possible before wheeling into that whip and delivery. 0-2 the count on Subject. She winds. The 0-2 changeup misses high and outside for ball 1. Kent State has faced 7 batters, this the 8th, yet to record an out. Hayes looks in, gets her sign. She winds. The 1-2 to Subject. Curveball called strike 3 on the inside corner. looked to be maybe off the plate, but still too close to take in that situation for the catcher subject. She is back to the bench after a strikeout looking. That'll bring up Lindsay Montemurano. Monty, the third baseman, hitting .255 on the season. Went 0 for 2 in yesterday's affair, and now a conference in the circle between Hayes and the catcher Dodson. Montemurano 12 of 47 on the season, 3 hits gone for extra bases. An opportunity to add to the Wolverines' lead here. It sits at 4-2, but I don't think they want it to stop here. She stands toward the front of the box and awaits the first offering from the righty Hayes. Hard curveball called strike 1 on the outside corner, thigh high. The crowd has filled in at least along the sides in the bleachers here. Not many fans out in right field yet. Hayes winds the 0-1. Hard curveball misses low and away for ball 1 to Lindsay Montemurano. Her bat may not have gotten hot yet, but she has had a stellar eye this season. Monty, 11 walks to go along with 7 strikeouts. If you're looking for 3 true outcomes sort of things. The 1-1 on its way. Swing and a fly ball left field. That one's going to be trouble. The left fielder, Skorsky, turns around and it one-hops up against the wall. Swearingen got a bad read, so she stops at second base. 2 runs will score. It is a long single for Lindsay Montemurano. It'll score 2 more runs, and the Wolverines lead this one 6-2. Kent State still can't find an answer. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Natalie Peters. 2 runners on, Taylor Swearingen over at second, Lindsay Montemurano at first. With 1 out still in the bottom of the first inning, the Wolverines leading this one 6-2. And while Maddie Grimm's home run in the top of the first felt almost monumental at the time, it looks almost inconsequential now. Janelle Hayes winds. The first pitch to Peters, the slapper runs up and takes, and it's a curveball on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Peters taking her practice hacks. She walked in her first plate appearance, starting this rally. Hayes looks in, winds the 0-1, swinging a tapper. 1 hop, fielded by the second baseman, Abeska, tags out the runner, Montemurano, throws to first. I think it's going to be ruled a double play, but it remains to be seen. Yeah, they're ruling that Lindsay Montemurano is out, and that is a horrible call. Abeska, the second baseman, fielded the ground ball, held the softball in her right hand, and tagged Montemurano with the glove hand. I would love to see an appeal to home plate umpire Brian Haraber to see if he got a better view from that, but actually the vantage point from up here in the press box, probably the best one. As it stands, I think it's ruled an inning-ending double play, but I think the right call here would be to reverse things. Maybe a bit of bias on my end, but it was pretty clear to me, and they're going to call them both out. They're going to call the double play. It's a poor call, but Michigan will stick with the 6 runs that they have recorded here in the bottom of the first. We head to the top of the second. Michigan leads 6-2 here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball, thanks to those of you who have tuned in. So after 2 hits in the entirety of yesterday's game, we have seen 7 hits in the first inning alone. Kent State 2 runs on 2 hits. They've recorded an error. Michigan 6 runs on 5 hits. A walk thrown in there, a base runner on an error as well. They leave 2 stranded, but still in pretty good shape, one would have to say. Blanco back out in the circle. The Wolverines taking their warm-ups. A pretty standard lineup from the Wolverines, front to back. Blanco will face in this inning Brooke Dodson, the catcher, followed by Jade Williams, and then the center fielder, Maria Sagletti. Kent State really not a lineup that will threaten you top to bottom. Most of the damage will come in the middle of the order. Indeed, the averages on the season of their hitters 6 through 9, none of them edge out 150. While there may be some small sample size, Eric Oakley forced to, mix things around, work with what he's got. It's still not a pretty picture on the lineup card. Blanco still out there in the circle after being pinch run for in the bottom of the first. standard practice in a softball game. So the righty Dodson catching today, leading things off for Kent State. She's hitting 100, 2 for 20 so far on the season. Both of those hits singles. First pitch, change up in there for a called strike thigh high. Caught a good portion of the plate. Dodson, a senior righty, stands toward the middle of the box. Medium length apart, tall stance, open. Rests the bat on her right shoulder. Awaits the 0-1 from Tara Blanco. Hard curveball just misses off the plate away for ball 1. The count 1-1. No outs here in the top of the second inning. Infield and outfield shaded straight away for the Wolverines. The second baseman, Canfield, giving plenty of space in front of her. She is about 3 steps in front of the grass. The 1-1, swinging a tapper, bobbled by Blanco. She's going to have to pounce on this one. Fires over to Blanco at first and records the out. It was off the end of the bat with a ton of spin, so a little iffy for Tara Blanco in the circle, but she held her own to her credit.
Number 2, Jade Williams.
Jade Williams now at the plate for the Golden Flashes. Blanco back into the circle. Twists her torso, winds. The first pitch to Williams, big swing and a miss. A tardy cut. Had a screwball in on the hands out of the right arm of Tara Blanco. Williams yet to record a hit this season. She's 0 for 3. The freshman stands toward the back of the box. Slight bend to the knees. Her back elbow high. She awaits the 0-1 from Blanco. Rise ball misses high for ball 1 to Williams. 1-1 the count. 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the second. Williams wags the bat back and forth. Now holds it up above her helmet. The 1-1 on its way. Swing and a miss. Blanco climbs the ladder, and Williams can't catch up. Frankly, she's looked overmatched against the velocity out of the right arm of Tara Blanco. Blanco has Williams where she wants her. Looking for her second strikeout of the game here. She winds. The 1-2 on its way. Swing and a miss. She records her second strikeout of the game. A changeup that dipped down out of the zone. Williams cut and missed. Came up empty. And that's the second out here in the top of the second inning. Just a reminder, you are listening to WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. That's going to bring up Maria Sigletti, the center fielder. Alrighty, she takes the first pitch, and it's a hard breaking ball that just misses high for ball 1. Caught a good chunk of the plate, but didn't quite dip low enough. Sigletti, feet wide apart, knees splayed slightly inward, toward the back of the box, if anywhere. The 1-0, hard curveball. That one does catch the zone, about belt high. For strike 1, the count moves to 1-1. Lindsay Montemurano about 7 or 8 steps in from her normal spot down the third base line. Maybe expecting a bunt from the freshman. Blanco winds the 1-1, swinging a tapper down that third base line off the foot of Sigletti. Monty Fields flips it past the glove of Tara Blanco. Aiden Falk will pick up the loose ball, all of course inconsequential as that ball is out of play and the play is dead. So the count now 1-2. Blanco looking for her second strikeout of the inning. She will have effectively done it all herself if that ends up the outcome. She looks in, gets the sign, winds. The 1-2 on its way. Curveball misses off the plate away for ball 2. So the count 2-2 with 2 outs. Infield and outfield. Well, outfield straight away. The infield now back at the corners as the bunt no longer an option for the righty Sigletti. Blanco winds. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Sigletti, a half-hearted half-cut, goes down on strikes. Blanco strikes out the last 2 golden flashes she sees and gets through a clean 1-2-3 inning in response to 6 runs in the bottom of the first from her offense. We head to the bottom of the second. Michigan leading this one 6-2 here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. Thanks yet again to those of you who have tuned in. If our weekend coverage of the games isn't enough for you and you're looking for just more softball content, more coverage of this team, be sure to subscribe to our softball podcast, East of the Rockies. That can be found on iTunes and on SoundCloud. Again, that is East of the Rockies. We have 6 episodes out as of right now. We've got plenty of player interviews. We've interviewed about half the starting lineup, including a couple of bench players. And it's a lot of fun. I do it with Kevin Klein, who's currently working with Big Ten Student U. He actually got to broadcast yesterday's Bets and No-Hitter for Student U. So on this week's episode, we'll be comparing our calls of the end of that no-hitter. So if you want to listen to fun stuff like that, then I guess subscribe to our podcast. If you don't, you should still review the podcast positively because we get off on that sort of thing. Leading things off here in the bottom of the second for the Wolverines will be Faith Canfield, the second baseman who has been stellar so far this weekend. She's seen her average jump up to 357. A 418 on-base percentage. She is a 429 on-base percentage when leading innings off for the Michigan Wolverines. She rocketed one back up the middle in her last plate appearance. And when asked about what exactly had changed for Canfield this season, what has enabled her to be so successful, Carol Hutchins had one word: confidence. She's seeing the ball well, she believes in herself, and now looking to get things going against Janelle Hayes. She golfs one down the right field line. Tailing over and making the catch on the run is the right fielder, Allie Luther. It was a pitch down in the zone, looked like it tied up Canfield a bit, wasn't able to barrel it up. And one pitch records the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. That's going to bring up Kelly Christner. Christner, of course, Michigan's standout offensive player so far, hitting .463 now on the season. Stands with an open stance. The first pitch from Hayes, off speed, called strike on the outside corner above the knees. Christner, a bit of an unorthodox stance, slightly bent over. Hard bend, a lot of weight on her back leg. She awaits the 0-1 from Janelle Hayes. Hard curveball misses high and outside for ball 1. There is action out there in the Kent State bullpen. Not sure how effective any replacement would be, but Hayes has at least, recorded an out to start the inning, and that's more than you can say for Maddie Huck. The 1-1 off-speed changeup started high, didn't quite drop enough, and the count moves to 2-1 on Kelly Christner. Nobody on, one out here in the bottom of the second. Hayes gets her sign from the catcher Dodson. She winds, 2-1, swinging a tapper. 2 hops over to second base, fielded by Abeska. She flips over to her first baseman, Hunter Bransefort, and that'll be the second out of the inning. So 2 up, 2 down for the Wolverines. Both offenses have calmed down ever so slightly after an electric start, and that brings up Aiden Falk. Falk came up to hit last inning. Took 2 quick strikes before lining a single back up the middle and scoring 2. The first pitch from Hayes. Hard curveball misses off the plate high and outside for ball 1. Falk's average now up to 312. She has nearly double-digit RBI, 19 on the season. I think that's good for second on the team. Hayes winds the 1-0. Curveball, that one in there at the knees, called strike on the outside corner. Good location there from Janelle Hayes. Hayes, a leisurely pace in the circle. Peers in, gets the sign, now winds. The 1-1 to Falk, off speed, swinging a pop-up foul. That one may stay in play. Long run for the third baseman, Maddie Grimm, and it bounces off the wall down the left field line. It falls harmlessly for strike 2. That one, an awkward swing from Aiden Falk, just sort of stuck her bat out there and spoiled a pitch, although a little unnecessary with only 1 strike on her. So the count now 1-2. Falk will have to shorten up against Janelle Hayes. She gets the sign. Comes set, winds. The 1-2 swing and a slow tapper back to Hayes. She fields underhand flip to the first baseman, Bransefort. And it's a duo of 1-2-3 innings for the Wolverines and the Kent State Golden Flashers, following up an 8-run first inning, combining both sides' totals, obviously. So a 6-2 lead for the Wolverines heading into the top of the third inning here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. We also have a blog. If you're listening to this at wcbnsports.org, you are more than likely familiar with our website. We've got our podcasts there. We've got actually a pretty steady stream of opinion and analysis pieces going up there on a wide variety of topics, not just sports, but also pop culture, which, you know, sounds a little cliche. That's kind of what every sports website purports to be, but, you know, we do it too. So, you know, go over there if you want to read some things. We haven't written anything about softball yet. Most of our softball coverage has come in audio form, but rest assured we will be putting softball content out there as this season goes on. So it'll be the bottom of the lineup starting things off for the Kent State Golden Flashes here in the top of the third inning. Hunter Bransford, the sophomore corner infielder, started at third base yesterday. Starting at first base today, she's started in all but 2 of Kent State's games, appeared in all but 1. She's hitting 6 of 41, so a bit of a slump so far. 9 strikeouts to go along with 1 walk. So maybe an opportunity for Tara Blanca to add to her strikeout total, which currently rests at 3 through 2 innings. Wolverines will be playing a game right after this one. It'll likely be Megan Betza in the circle against, I would assume, Ronnie Ledines. Oh man, emphatic dunk from the Louisville Cardinals in the game that I'm watching between the innings. But yeah, Ledines versus Betza, a rematch of yesterday's pitchers duel. Should be a fun one. I'll be bringing you coverage of that one about a half hour after the conclusion of this affair. So Bransford, the righty, leading things off, stands with a squared stance, actually slightly closed. Awaits the first pitch, a long swing and a miss, cutting through the gas from Tara Blanco. Montemurano over at third base, about 4 steps in now, slightly off the line. Falk similarly positioned down at first. Rest of the infield and outfield straight away. The 0-1 screwball called strike on the outside corner. Tara Blanco can utilize pitches that break both ways. Puts impressive spin on the ball and has a changeup to throw in with all of that. 0-2 the count. Bransford squares to bunt. She'll pull back. The 0-2 on its way. Swing and a miss. 1, 2, 3, and down she goes. Tara Blanco has struck out 3 consecutive hitters. And now that makes it 1 out as the top of the order comes up yet again for the Kent State Golden Flashes. It'll be Vanessa Squersty. She led off the game with a ground out to Faith Canfield back in the first. Blanco winds the first pitch. Curveball misses high for ball 1 to Squersty. Squersty now 204 on the season. 6 walks, 9 strikeouts for the Kent State righty. Rests the bat on her shoulder. Now assumes a more athletic stance as Blanco winds. The 1-0 curveball called strike. That looked to be high and out of the zone, but Blanco gets the benefit of the doubt from home plate umpire Brian Haraberta. Nobody on, 1 out here in the top of the third. Squersty looking to get a rally started for her Golden Flashes. Blanco winds. The 1-1 in there for a called strike. Outside corner, good location there from Tara Blanco. And she is ahead in the count 1-2. The wind blowing in ever so slightly from center field. Hasn't really had any effect on the game so far. The 1-2 swing and a half cut pop up behind second base. Canfield started in and then ranges back and makes the catch. And that was almost self-defense from Squersty as it was a curveball high and inside. It might have hit her on the hands if she hadn't already started to swing. A little bit weird, not what you expect to see, but Canfield at second base makes the defensive adjustment and makes the catch for the Maize and Blue. So 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the third. That brings up Kelly Abeska. She takes the first pitch, a changeup called strike, outer half, just below the belt. Abeska, a single back up the middle, her last plate appearance, scored on a 2-run homer by the on-deck hitter, Maddie Grimm. Blanco winds, the 0-1, swing and a miss. A rise ball straight through the bat of Kelly Abeska. Blanco appears to be finding a rhythm. She's been coming inside and outside, spinning it right, left, and up, mixing speeds, mixing the eye levels. She's retired 5 straight Kent State hitters. Well, I guess 6 straight if you go back to the first inning, looking to make it 7. She winds the 0-2 pitch. Curveball, called strike 3, ringing up Abeska. And that'll do it another 1-2-3 inning for Tara Blanco in the top of the third. We head to the bottom half. Michigan still holding on to a 6-2 lead over the Kent State Golden Flashes here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. On the basketball end of things, Michigan trailing the Louisville Cardinals 25-22. That game, a bit of a matchup nightmare for the Wolverines, as Louisville has a quartet of bigs who can really pound the ball inside. The Wolverines, if there's one thing they lack, it's size down low, but they have been holding their own so far. Over on Ray Fisher, the Wolverines leading 4-0. Looks like they have rebounded ever so slightly against the Northern Illinois Huskies after yesterday's letdown. The Wolverines nationally ranked after a very hot start to the season in their away and tournament circuit. A little interesting how these two teams, baseball and softball, are seen so differently. Both had, I'd say, similar success. Baseball playing less high-profile opponents, but perhaps a better record than the softball team, which came out 14-7-1 in their away slate to start the year. The Wolverines, of course, almost all of their losses have come to top-notch competition. But while both teams nationally ranked near the bottom half of the top 25, the baseball team seen as a pleasant surprise, the softball as a bit of a disappointment. But the Wolverines will have plenty of chances to right the ship, turn around that narrative. And it starts here with beating up on these Golden Flashes. Tara Blanco leading things off for the Wolverines, looking to help out her own cause. A walk in her last at-bat. The first pitch, big cut and a miss. Curveball down and away. If she barreled that one up, it might still be going, but that is a meaningless hypothetical, as instead she fouled it back to the screen. 1-1 the count, infield and outfield shaded back. Even with the bag at the corners are Maddie Grimm and Hunter Bransford. Janelle Hayes winds the 0-1. Curveball called strike at the knees on the outside corner. Blanco, always a fearless hitter with 2 strikes. Slightly strikeout prone this season with 9, but she's also second on the team in walks. The 0-2, curveball up and in. It plunks her on the left elbow, and she's down to first base to lead off the inning for the Maize and Blue. She was pinch run for by Thais Gonzalez last time she got on base. It doesn't appear as though that's going to be the case, at least not right away. She will get to run for herself. Wolverines yet to send anyone in motion, but that's just because, for the most part, the bases have been saturated. Blanco not going to get a pinch runner, but she will get a jacket from the dugout to stay warm out there. Always important. Abby Ramirez at the plate for the Wolverines. Reached base on an error in her last plate appearance. A tapper back to the circle, bobbled by Maddie Huck. The first pitch on its way from Janelle Hayes. Check swing, slap approach, called strike on the outside corner against the Michigan senior shortstop. Blanco, not a ton of speed down at first base, but certainly an athlete. The 0-1 on its way from Janelle Hayes. Ramirez takes another called strike, a backdoor curveball. Gets Ramirez to take, and now for the second at-bat of the inning, Hayes ahead in the count 0-2 on a Wolverines hitter. Ramirez going to take a protective approach. The 0-2 on its way from Hayes. Curveball just misses low, looking for that same spot on the outside corner, but Ramirez wisely takes, and the count moves to 1-2. Infield in on Abby Ramirez, per usual. Shows bunt, pulls it back. The 1-2 from Hayes. She takes. It's another curveball on the outer half. Misses off the plate yet again. Hayes has consistently tried for that exact same spot. Has hit it twice, missed it twice. Ramirez hasn't lifted the bat off of her left shoulder. She holds the bat out in front. Hayes winds, the 2-2. Swinging a slapper toward the right side, through the hole, a base hit, gets by Abeska into right field. Terra Blanca will stop at second base. It's a no-out single, moves the runners up. Runners on first and second now, and Taylor Swearingen in the righty batter's box as Derek Walton hits a 3 to put the Wolverines within 1. The infield back, outfield as well against Swearingen. Hit a bloop single with about as much hang time as you're ever going to see for a base hit, thanks to a backed up outfield back in the first inning. First pitch on its way, big cut and a miss. Curveball down and away to Taylor Swearingen. Looking to deposit that one in those right field seats that have only been populated thus far, softball-wise, by Maddie Grimm's home run. How's that for phrasing? 0-1 the count. Hayes gets the sign, she winds. Pitch on the way, off speed, swinging a tapper. One hop, gets past the first baseman, Bransford. Down the line it goes, it's bobbled by Abeska backing up the play. But that was such an awkward play for the first baseman, Bransford. A ton of spin off the end of the bat of Taylor Swearingen, but she rushed the play, and she's got to do a better job there at first base. So an error will put Swearingen aboard. The base is loaded again for the Wolverines here with nobody out. Now at the bottom of the third inning. And this is fast approaching run rule territory for the Maize and Blue. Alex Subject at the plate. The first pitch from Hayes on its way, but time called prior to the pitch, it appears. Not really sure why, but it'll amount to nothing more than a warm-up there. First pitch now, off speed, off the plate outside, a close one. Good eye there from Subject for ball 1. Subject 0 for 1, struck out looking her first plate appearance. Little bend to the knees, weight evenly distributed on both legs, holds the bat high, awaits the 1-0 from Hayes, swinging a slow grounder down to first. Bransford fields, fires home, and they'll get the force out on Terra Blanco there. So Subject, for the second time in this game, comes up empty with the bases loaded. She is on first base now with 1 out, and that brings up Lindsay Montemarano. Mo Wagner looking excellent on offense for the Wolverines. On the basketball court, it must be noted, Monty had a 2-run single with the bases loaded her last at-bat. One hopped it off the wall over the left fielder, Squersty. She's given her due respect here as Hayes winds. The first pitch to Monty. Changeup misses low for ball 1. Montemarano, known for some clutch heroics for this Maize and Blue team, has been a second half of the season hitter, looking to round into form here as the Wolverines embark on their home slate. The 1-0 on its way from Hayes. Hard curveball in there for a called strike. The count moves to 1-1 on Montemarano. Base is still loaded, 1 out, bottom of the third. Hayes gets her sign, winds, the 1-1 on its way. Hard curveball called strike 2 on the outside corner above the knees. Infield and outfield straight away. At this point, Eric Oakley, Kent State's head coach, content to concede a run if it means getting out of the inning. 1-2 the count. Monty awaits the pitch. Hard curveball just off the plate away. And the count runs to 2-2. The Kent State dugout wanted that call. They're not going to get it. Michigan basketball getting hard done by the referees. What else is new? The 2-2 on its way. Line drive, left field. That one's going to get down for a base hit. A second one from Montemarano. It's bobbled by the left fielder, Squersty. A hesitation from Swearingen rounding third. Now she goes home and scores. 2 runs in. Monty to second base on the throw. Subject down to third. I'm not sure how many RBIs she'll be credited with, but it's another solid base hit from Montemarano with a lot of runners on base. The Wolverines now lead 8-2 over the Kent State Golden Flashes. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Natalie Peters.
Natalie Peters.
28-28. a minute ago.
Peters the lefty. 0 for 1 today with a walk and a double play. First pitch swung on and tapped, and it hits Peters as she was out of the box. She's going to be recorded, or an out will be recorded on the play. Peters down, and the runners will retreat back to second and third. So that's going to bring up Faith Canfield. Canfield 1 for 2 on the game today. Hitting with runners in second and third. Now 2 outs after Peters called out on the infraction. Hayes winds. First pitch to Canfield. Curveball called strike outside half at the knees. Kelly Christner awaits on deck. First base is open. Hayes looks in. Gets the sign. Winds. The 0-1. Swing and a pop-up foul down the right side, out of play halfway up the bleachers in front of the Michigan bullpen. Canfield popped out to right field in her last at-bat. It was a nice running catch by Ellie Luther in foul ground. So the count now 0-2 on Canfield, the sophomore second baseman. Hayes looks in, gets the sign. She winds and delivers. Pitch on the way, swinging a tapper toward the right side. Bransford fields. It's a race to the bag, and Bransford's going to win it, retiring Faith Canfield and the Wolverines in the bottom half of the third inning. They add 2 more on the strength of a Lindsay Montemarano bases loaded single, and we head to the top of the fourth. Michigan leads this one 8-2 over the Kent State Golden Flashes. Just a reminder, you are listening to WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. If you have any questions, comments, remarks, any shout-outs to give on air, anything to entertain me between innings, feel free to tweet it at us at WCBN Sports. I'm also paying attention to comments on our YouTube video as it stands. Michigan trails Louisville 36-28 at halftime. A couple of BS calls have put Derek Walton and Mo Wagner in a bit of foul trouble and have cost Michigan some points. But I'm sure you're getting enough of that from whatever avenue you're watching this game. Meanwhile, Tara Blanco back out into the circle. Thus far through 3 innings, has surrendered 2 hits, both in sequence in the top of the first inning. It was a Kelly Abeska single followed by a Maddie Grimm home run, and those have accounted for the only noise Kent State has made on the scoreboard this game. Blanco, no walks issued, 5 strikeouts so far. Impressive turnaround after a rough start. Certainly helps that she has been buoyed by a strong offensive performance behind her. So it'll be the 3-4-5 hitters in Kent State's lineup here in the top of the 4th inning. Kent State going to need a big-time rally to bring things back. Trailing by 6, the Wolverines will need to score 2 more runs than the Golden Flashes in the next 2 innings in order to win in a run rule and save some time between games. Grimm 1 for 1 on the game today with a home run to right field. The lefty awaits. The first pitch from Blanco. Hard curveball misses low for ball 1. Looking for that outside corner but couldn't find it. Blanco quickly back to the rubber. Winds the 1-0. Grimm squares to bunt, pulls back, and the curveball catches the outside corner for a called strike 1. Infield in at the corners, back up the middle, and the outfield deep on the power-hitting Grimm. Swinging a rocket up the left center field gap. That one's going to get all the way to the wall. Grimm takes the turn at first, heading into second. The throw from Kelly Christner, 1 hop to Canfield, not in time. A no-doubt double. And Maddie Grimm is seeing the ball as well as anyone in this game today. She is 2 for 2 with a home run and a double. That's going to bring up Ronnie Ladinas. Ladinas, the designated player. Pitched in yesterday's game, 0 for 1 today. Blanco gets the sign, winds the first pitch to Ladina, swinging a hard line drive. Almost took out the legs of her head coach, Eric Oakley, down that third base line. He twisted out of the way. And two very strong-looking swings from the Golden Flashes in sequence here in the top of the fourth inning. The middle of the lineup not to be taken lightly here. Blanco looks, gets her sign, twists, hands over her head, delivers. The 0-1 curveball, I have no clue where that missed. Maybe low, maybe outside. The count moves to 1-1 on Ronnie Ladinas. Looked to be a good spot there from Blanco. A good pitch ahead in the count. Blanco winds, the 1-1 on its way. Changeup, called strike, high part of the zone. Probably not where she wanted to locate it, but she got the benefit of the call anyway, as Ladinas didn't offer. Perhaps not expecting that one. She's behind in the count 1-2 against Michigan's righty, Tara Blanco. Ladinas, the righty, stands with a slightly open stance, a shin guard on her left boot. Awaits the 1-2. Hard riser, misses inside, maybe high too. The ball moves, or the ball takes the count to 2-2. Blanco gets her sign. She winds. The 2-2 on its way. Curveball misses low and away, and the count runs full on Ronnie Ladina. Still nobody out here in the top half of the fourth. Blanco ahead in the count 1-2, has missed the zone twice in a row. Looking to record the first out here in the top of the fourth. She winds. The 3-2 on its way, swinging a pop-up right field, straight at Peters. She comes in, makes the catch, comes up throwing for third base, the runner tagging, and the throw well up the line, almost into left field. Good awareness by Montemurano to stray from the bag and track it down. She was well backed up by both Abby Ramirez and the left fielder, Courtney Richardson, so even if that throw got away from Monty, it was not going to cause any danger. Fundamental defense there from the Wolverines. A difficult throw from Natalie Peters. And actually last week we were waiting to interview some of the players after their Wednesday practice. That resulted in, I believe, interviews of Tara Blanco and Abby Ramirez. Good ones. They're on our 5th episode of the podcast. You should check it out if you haven't already. But anyway, as we were waiting on practice, there's a conference in the circle right now. That's why I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But anyway, Coach Carol Hutchins had the team out there, and this was that day where people lost power. The winds were gusting up to 50 miles per hour. Had the team doing defensive drills out in the miserable cold. In the standard she had set, she had Michigan try to get 15 plays right in a row. And it was those kinds of throws that they were working on. Throws against the momentum, into the infield, on point. Peters obviously hasn't learned her lesson. The first pitch on its way from Tara Blanco, a curveball misses low and away to Allie Luther, the right fielder. Bounced out back to Blanco, her first plate appearance. So anyway, those throws, something Michigan has worked on, but you can excuse a bit of an errant throw in that situation, I guess. The 1-0 on its way to Luther, swinging a foul back to the screen, about 2/3 of the way up. Infield back with a runner on third base, opting to concede the run on a soft grounder. Blanco checks her armband. A strikeout or a pop-out would be huge here. The 1-1 with 1 on and 1 out. Luther shows bunt, offers at it, stabs and misses. Would have been a called strike anyway. Not sure what exactly that call was, but she's behind in the count 1-2. She showed it so early, the infield would have been in on her. Yeah, questionable decision-making from the junior right fielder. Blanco gets her sign, winds. The 1-2, swinging a pop-up foul. That one 3/4 of the way, maybe 4/5 even, up the screen behind home plate. Luther spoils a hard curveball and keeps the at-bat alive. Brooke Dodson, the catcher, on deck for the Golden Flashes. Luther stands tall in the righty batter's box, open stance. The 1-2, curveball misses low and away for ball 2. Luther holds the bat just inches above her right shoulder. I'd say it appears to be a relaxed approach. to uncoil and cause some damage here in the top of the fourth. Blanco gets her sign from subject. She winds. The 2-2 swing and a line drive center field. Christner tracking back off of her glove and up against the wall. She fields, fires it into second base. Going to be a close play. Sliding in safely is Allie Luther. It's an error from Kelly Christner. She can't believe it. Crouching low out on the warning track. Almost recovered to make the throw in. She's got the best arm of anybody on this team. And certainly that ball probably had a decent amount of backspin on it off the bat of Luther. She got a good chunk of it, but that is absolutely a catch you expect Kelly Christner, of all people, to make out in that outfield. So instead of 2 outs and 1 run in, still 1 out. A runner on second base is Allie Luther, and that's going to bring up Dodson. The game now 8-3 in favor of the Wolverines. Blanco winds. Pitch up and away for ball 1. Plenty of zip on that one, probably pushing 70 mph. Dodson, a ground out back to the pitcher in her first plate appearance. The infield still back for the Wolverines, with Luther down at second. Blanco gets her sign, twists, rocks back. The 1-0. Changeup misses high and outside for ball 2. So after a bit of a letdown, Blanco going to have to recollect herself. Lindsay Montemarano, the third baseman, goes in, slaps a hand. Probably a word or two of encouragement there. Blanco winds, the 2-0. Fastball up and in. Misses for ball 3. So Blanco on the verge of issuing her first walk of this affair. Megan Betza will no doubt be on hand if need be, but you'd like to see Blanco work through these struggles herself. The 3-0, hard curveball called strike, outside corner, about belt high. Good location there. Not much Dodson could have done with that, even if she had offered at it. This Kent State team hasn't shown much as far as catching up to the speed of Tara Blanco, but the off-speed stuff hasn't been located quite as well. The 3-1 curveball misses low for ball 4, and Dodson down to first base with a 1-out walk. So no significant danger yet to this Wolverines team, but this is a rally in the works for the Golden Flashes as a substitution is about to be made. I think we're going to see Dodson pinch run for over at first base. Looks to be the case, as strapping on batting gloves is a pinch runner. It is number 4, Sydney Anderson. We saw her in the leadoff spot in yesterday's game. Started as a designated player. Ended up in right field, replacing Bailey Brownfield out there. As a leadoff hitter yesterday, you assume she's got plenty of speed. She will be only able to go as far as the runner in front of her, Luther, goes. Holly Spears pinch hitting for the Kent State Golden Flashes in place of Jade Williams, the light hitting shortstop. Spears with 6 long balls on the season. The first pitch from Blanco. Curveball misses low and away for ball 1. Monty again taking a few steps toward the circle. Blanco getting some words of encouragement from the dugout perhaps. She looks in, winds. The 1-0, changeup called strike on the outer half. Good bounce back there from Tara Blanco. 2 on, 1 out for Kent State here in the top of the 4th. They trail the Wolverines 8-3 here in the first game of a doubleheader. Blanco winds. The 1-1, swing and a pop-up. This one should stay on the infield. It's going into foul ground. Falk right in front of the Michigan dugout makes the catch. Good spatial awareness there from the junior off and on first baseman as she retires the second out of the inning. The pinch hitter Spears, unsuccessful, didn't even move up the runners. It's a break there for Blanco, and that looks to bring up another pinch hitter, Kristen Eckel, a freshman listed as a pitcher in this Kent State lineup. She is 2 for 3 on the season. So gaudy averages, of course, but the sample size leaving something to be desired. Infield and outfield straight away. Eckel, a tall frame. A righty with a long, slightly braided maybe ponytail, a blue ribbon in her hair behind those dark blue helmets with a golden flash on the bottom half. Knees splayed inward, a wide stance. Blanco winds, first pitch, curveball just misses off the plate, low and away. A close one, but ball one. Eckel stands toward the middle of the box. Doesn't crowd the plate too much. The 1-0, swing and a miss. Tardy on the curveball from Tara Blanco. And from our vantage point, full disclosure, it's hard to tell whether the ball is going from right to left or left to right, as I'm on the first base side of things, but doing my best to make good guesses on these pitches out of the right arm of Tara Blanco. The 1-1 on its way, swinging a foul back to the screen. Eckel yet again tardy on the screwball, lower half outside. The count moves to 1-2. Eckel's got a good-looking compact swing. You gotta imagine the ball will jump if she connects. But Blanco, one strike away from getting out of the inning with minimal damage done. She winds. The 1-2 on its way to Eckel. Looked like maybe a drop ball, maybe a changeup. It dipped low either way. So twos across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on here in the top of the 4th inning. Blanco twists, gets her sign. The 2-2 on its way. Curveball called strike 3. And that'll do it for the Golden Flashes in the top half of the 4th inning. Blanco had consistently hammered the lower part of the strike zone, came up high with the heat there, and Eckel, bamboozled, couldn't take the bat off of her shoulder. That'll take us to the bottom of the 4th inning. Michigan, an 8-3 lead over the Golden Flashes here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball.
After the conclusion of the current game, please direct any questions to the nearest event team member.
Still a very cool day here at Alumni, but unlike yesterday when it could be maybe an excuse for some inept offensive performances, it just seemed like one game was what these two teams needed to get the bats going. Certainly the names in the circle, you could attribute the performances to not being a Betzeladinus showdown, but at the same time, a lot of solid swings, a lot of solid contact. The defense on both sides leaving something to be desired. 2 errors from the Golden Flashes, 1 from the Wolverines, that being Kelly Christner in the last inning. Janelle Hayes hasn't been overly impressive in relief, but has certainly gotten the job done, more so than her predecessor, Maddie Huck. Through 3 innings, she's given up 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned. No walks and a strikeout. Huck, the starter for the Golden Flashes, didn't end up recording an out. She went no innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 earned runs, 6 total. Nary a strikeout in her box score. It'll be Kelly Christner leading things off for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the 4th inning. A .667 on-base percentage when leading off innings for the Maize and Blue. With the wind still blowing softly, not as intense as it was yesterday when it probably robbed Kelly Christner of at least 1 home run, blowing from left to right. Now it's coming slightly across from right to left, maybe a bit in. If you're going for the long ball, you'd be better served going out to left, but that did not deter Maddie Grimm, who's got 2 extra base hits for the Golden Flashes and has either driven in or scored all 3 of their runs today. So a slight delay as home plate umpire Brian Heriberto resumes his place behind the plate. Christner, the lefty, 1 for 2 on the day today. Hayes winds, the first pitch on its way. Curveball called strike, good spot on the outer half, well above the knees. Carol Hutchins down on the third base side having a discussion with Kent State head coach Eric Oakley and a Kent State assistant. looks friendly to me. The 0-1. Off-speed pitch, that one off the plate away. The count moves to 1-1 with nobody on and nobody out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Hayes looks in, gets the sign from Dodson. Rocks back, winds. The 1-1, swing and a pop-up down the right field line. That one's going to land foul just to the right of the Michigan M. Past first base and into the shallow outfield grass on the foul side. The count moves to 1-2 on Kelly Christner. That pitch slow and up in the zone. She got it with the end of the bat. Now going to have to shorten up that swing. She holds the bat nearly parallel to the ground above her left shoulder. Now lifts it up and awaits the 1-2 from Hayes. Swinging a rocket on one hop straight to the second baseman, Abeska. She fields easily and flips to first for the first out of the inning. Solid contact from the Michigan center fielder, but put in the wrong spot. We've said that so often through the course of the weekend. And that's going to bring up Aiden Falk. Falk also 1 for 2. Had a 2-run single and a ground out to the pitcher in her 2 plate appearances. Hayes winds, the first pitch to Falk. Off speed, misses high for ball 1. Falk, a wide stance, plenty of bend to her front knee. Not really open or closed. The bat rests on her neck before she lifts it up. The 1-0 curveball, called strike on the outer edge. I'd say it was a pretty good frame there from catcher Brooke Dodson, who has provided a little more consistency as a against State backstop. Sorry, my mind's in the wrong place. The 1-1 on its way. Off-speed swing and a fly ball, left field foul. That one's going to tail and ricochet off the top of the fence, off of the lap of the left fielder Squirsti, who was charging, and into the corner. A long strike 2 off the bat of Aiden Falk. Nobody on, 1 out now, bottom of the 4th. Michigan leads by 5. Hayes looks in, taking her time. Janelle Hayes winds and delivers. The 1-2 swung on and slapped foul down the third base line. A pitch with speed on the outer half. Falk spoiled it and keeps the at-bat alive. She singled with 2 strikes back in the first inning. Looking to do something similar here. Hayes winds. The 1-2, swinging a ground ball right back to the pitcher. Hayes fields. And that is Falk's second ground out to the pitcher in her last 2 at-bats. And it's the second out of the inning for the Michigan Wolverines. That's going to bring up Tara Blanco. Nobody on, now 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Blanco yet to record an official at-bat today. She has bolstered that on-base percentage, however. A walk and a hit by pitch, both with 2 strikes in her first 2 plate appearances. First one on the way. Off-speed breaking ball, called strike outside corner. The count now 0-1 on the junior slugger. Hayes winds, the 0-1 on its way to Blanco, swinging a fly ball down the right field line, that one tailing, and it will land foul in the Michigan bullpen. Good trajectory on that one from Blanco, just trying to go with that outside pitch, but it maybe was a bit out of the zone, and she didn't get all of it. The count now 0-2 on Tara Blanco, 2 on, nobody out, or nobody on, 2 outs. Hayes winds, pitch on the way, swinging a foul back to the screen. Curveball low and away. Blanco did well to even get a piece of it. It was out of the zone, but you got to protect the plate in that situation. Blanco trying to start a 2-out rally in support of herself. Hayes gets the sign. The 0-2 on its way. Curveball, that one well low and well outside. The count moves to 1-2 on the junior slugger, Tara Blanco. Blanco's average sits at 211. Her on-base percentage 200 points higher, or rather 199 at 410 if you want to get particular. Time attempted to be called by Blanco. She didn't get it, and she hacks and fouls it back to the screen. Hayes taking extra long out there in the circle. It was probably for the best that home plate umpire Brian Haraberta didn't offer it to her, as you know, Hayes was just about in her motion. Down at third base, Maddie Grimm is crouched low, trying to stay warm out there. The 1-2 on its way again, swinging a rocket, gloved by Janelle Hayes. Look what she found. Blanco, an absolute terror of a shot up the middle. Hayes snags it. Pure reflex, flips to first for the final out of the inning. The Wolverines go 1-2-3. They have been only scoring in the odd innings so far. 6 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third. They lead 8-3 heading into the top of the 5th here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. So it will likely be Tara Blanco heading back out to the circle, of course. She is going to have to get some work, or get some time to adjust after being the final out of the inning. You know, got to go back, get your glove, get the arm rubbed down. So it'll be a bit of a delay before she and her catcher subject get out there. You would hope that the Wolverines would get a chance to maybe bring out Leah Crockett for some portion of this weekend tilt against the Kent State Golden Flashes. But on the other hand, you can kind of understand how maybe a 5-run lead against an offense that's shown signs of life, not a comfortable enough situation for Coach Carol Hutchins or arms specialist Jennifer Brundage to go that route. Crockett, a bit of a mechanical project. We will probably see more of her in the years to come, especially after Megan Betza graduates. But as of right now, it's a 2-woman rotation for the Michigan Wolverines. Blanco looks to be taking her final toss. Nope, looks like she's got one more. Maybe 2. The rest of the infield is ready. They've concluded their warm-ups, but the game will move at the pace Tara Blanco sets. Sorry, folks. It's a little easier to get tongue-tied when you're the only one talking, as I've learned in spades on this broadcast. Again, if you want to interact with me in any way, make any comments, call me out for incompetence, comment on the YouTube video, tweet at us at WCBN Sports. Leading things off, at the bottom of the lineup, the first baseman, Hunter Bransefort, struck out swinging her first at-bat. Blanco winds the delivery to Bransefort. Curveball misses low for ball 1. Bransefort stands almost straight up in that righty batter's box. Feet rather close together. Holds the bat 45 degrees above her right shoulder. The 1-0, swing and a miss. Hard rise ball up in the zone. Bransefort couldn't tee it up. The count moves to 1-1. On the sophomore corner, infielder Hunter Bransefort. Bransefort not very successful throughout this series. Blanco winds. The 1-1, swing a foul back to the screen. The count moves to 1-2 on Bransefort. Nobody on, nobody out here. 5th inning. Michigan 8 runs on 8 hits. 1 error called on Kelly Christner. Kent State 3 runs on 3 hits. 2 errors to show for it. Blanco winds. The 1-2 to Bransefort. Curveball misses high and outside for ball 2. Montemurano even with the bag at third, about 5 steps off the line. Falk a little bit in over at first base. Blanco winds. The 2-2. And it plunks Bransefort on either her left forearm or left elbow. She took it calmly. Maybe she's got a guard hidden beneath the long underwear. But she's down to first, hit by the pitch to lead off for the Golden Flashes here in the top of the 5th. So you don't want to put the leadoff runner on, but Tara Blanco did exactly that. And that's going to bring up the top of the lineup in Vanessa Squirsti. Blanco winds. Pitch on the way to the leadoff hitter is popped up foul. It's going to land on the roof of the press box and roll down into the concession area. Infield double play depth. Pitched in at the corners. Swirsky 0 for 2. Both of her outs have gone toward Faith Canfield, a ground out and a pop out. The 0-1 bunted right back to Blanco. She fields, fires to first. Canfield covering, records the out. Down to second base goes Hunter Bransford. And that's going to bring up Kelly Abeska, the second baseman.
Now batting for Penn State, number 12, Kelly Abeska.
Abeska has reached base in both of her plate appearances so far. Sorry, she is 1 for 2. The first pitch, swing and a miss from Abeska. She reached on a single back in the first inning, struck out looking her last at-bat. Maddie Grimm on deck. You don't want to put anybody else on base ahead of her, the way she's been hitting today. The 0-1. Screwball called strike outside corner at the knees. Blanco quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 on the freshman second baseman. 1 on, 1 out, top of the 5th. Blanco winds, delivers to Abeska. Changeup called, strike 3. Abeska frozen as that one dropped over the plate belt high outside. Strong location there from Tara Blanco, but that spin she put on the ball must have been mystifying to the freshman righty. That brings up Maddie Grimm. She has had Tara Blanco's number throughout the season. 2 for 2 with a double and a homer today. The first pitch on the way. Hard curveball, just misses off the plate outside for ball 1. Grimm's home run about 7 or 8 rows up the right field bleachers. Her double up the left center field gap. Power to all fields clearly. The 1-0. Hard riser misses high and outside. The count now 2-0 on Maddie Grimm. Grimm already digs into the box. Blanco just now making her way back to the rubber. She twists, box back. The 2-0. Hard curveball caught a ton of the play right down Broadway for a called strike 1. A get-me-over pitch certainly. Blanco, working with a 5-run lead, can afford to catch a little more of the plate at this juncture. Infield and outfield straight away on the lefty Grimm. Blanco winds, the 2-1, swinging a ground ball over toward third, past Montemarano. Ramirez from deep in the hole, her throw to first is not in time. It's going to be an infield single for Maddie Grimm. Not the fleetest of foot, but she had the advantage of coming out of the lefty batter's box, and once that got by Lindsay Montemarano, through no fault of her own, it was always going to be too late unless Ramirez unleashed a cannon. She didn't, and now the Kent State Golden Flashes have runners at the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. Ronnie Ladinas at the plate now. She was pinch hit for by Holly Spears, I do believe. Nah, I think I have that wrong, actually. Either way, she's 0 for 2. Big swing and a miss and a changeup first pitch. The runner goes, and Maddie Grimm will take second base on the ball in the dirt that got away from Alex Subject. The Wolverines honestly might have given her that anyway. And Spears actually pinch hit for Luther a couple innings ago, so Ladinas has not been pinch hit for yet. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. The 0-1 in there for a called strike, outer half. 0-2 the count now on Ladinas, who will most likely be in the circle next game for the Kent State Golden Flashes. Blanco comes set. The 0-2 delivery swung on and missed. Blanco records the strikeout. Down goes Ladinas and down go the Golden Flashes. They threaten, but they can't add to their 3-run total. The Wolverines still lead this one 8-3, heading into the bottom of the 5th here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. 8 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Wolverines. 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Golden Flashes. A brief recap of the game. Both teams started off strong on the offensive end. Abeska singled up the middle as the second hitter in the Kent State lineup. That was followed by a Maddie Grimm home run to right field. The Wolverines responded with 6 runs off of Maddie Huck, who started the game and did not record an out. She was replaced by Janelle Hayes, who has performed well. She's only given up 2 runs in the 3 innings she has pitched since. Allowed some inherited runners to score, but that's, only to be expected. The Wolverines will lead off with Abby Ramirez here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 3 runs away from a run rule victory. Outside of that, we'll have to play the 6th and the 7th afterward. Ramirez, 1 for 2, has reached base in both plate appearances, once via error and once via single. Ramirez hitting .357 while leading off innings this season. A wide, low crouch stance. She awaits the first pitch from Janelle Hayes in the bottom of the 5th. And it's a curveball that's in there on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Hayes pounded that outer half against the slap hitter Ramirez in her last at-bat to middling success. The 0-1 on its way. Curveball misses high for ball 1. The outfield respecting the slap power of Abby Ramirez. We've only seen 2 extra base hits from her this season, but it's more than nothing. The 1-1, a bunt, plopped right down in front of third base. No chance for the Golden Flashes. Ramirez on to lead things off here in the bottom of the 5th. Maddie Grimm, the third baseman, charged, but Ramirez put a perfect amount of backspin on it. It just sat about 15 feet down that third base line, right next to the fair foul divide. So Ramirez on, nobody out, bottom of the 5th. Taylor Swearingen at the plate. First pitch, she takes, and it's a curveball off the plate low and away for ball 1. Swearingen 2 for 2 today, 2 singles. 1 a blooper. And I'm not sure where the other one went, if we're being totally honest. 1-0 the count. Hayes winds, delivers, swing and a miss. Big hack from Taylor Swearingen. It's okay to open up the swing, go for the power early on in the count. That one a curveball that ducked down and away. Swearingen, a junior, has been in and out of the lineup throughout her career. With performances like this, she will gain more reps. The 1-1, swinging a foul ball over the screen and out of play behind home plate. Ramirez, a threat to go over at first base. She is 9 for 11 in stolen base attempts. The Wolverines yet to attempt to swipe a bag so far in this game, which is not in line with their performance this season. 1-2 the count on Swearingen. Hayes looks in, gets the sign from Dodson, winds and delivers. Swing and a miss. Swearingen down on strikes. Chased another curveball low and away. She's been going after those the entire at-bat and goes down on strikes as a result. So with 1 out, that'll bring up Alex Subject. Has had runners on base in every plate appearance today. She is 0 for 2. Strikeout looking and a force out with the bases loaded last time she was up. Takes the first pitch. Off-speed changeup, misses low and away for ball 1. Subject now hitting 182 on the season, looking to wrest some playing time away from Katie Alexander, whom we will likely see in the second game of this doubleheader. Hayes winds, pitch on the way, hard curveball called strike, outside corner. The count now 1-1 on Alex Subject, as a long Zach Irvin 2-point jumper has pulled the Wolverines back within 3 against the Louisville Cardinals. Hayes winds. The 1-1. Swing and a line drive. It's caught in the air by Abeska. She flips to first, but Ramirez had a read on that the whole time. Back in safely at first base. Doesn't get doubled off. That's experience on the base paths from Abby Ramirez. But that will be the second out of the inning. And it's going to bring up Lindsay Montemarano. Monty 2 for 2 today for the Wolverines. 2 singles. Both line drives to left. One considerably harder hit than the other. First pitch on its way, swinging a line drive on one hop. Gloved by the shortstop, Williams, fires over to first and retires Lindsay Montemarano for the final out of the inning. So the Wolverines get the leadoff runner on, but do no more damage in the bottom of the fifth. We head to the top of the sixth. They hold on to their 8-3 lead over the Golden Flashes here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. The wind has been inconsistent today. The crowd, however, has been steadfast in their support of this Wolverines team. Maybe not particularly loud, but nobody is left. I mean, I guess that's kind of something you'd come to expect. Certainly not, to the outside observer, you might not expect a softball team to draw 3 or 4 times the crowd of a baseball game across the diamond, but it's just an exciting sport that they play here at Alumni Field, and I've said it time and time again how blessed that we are to be able to bring you this coverage of this team, but it remains true and it bears repeating. It's just such an excellent program. Can't say enough good things about the people involved in putting this product together. Tara Blanco, through 5 innings, has surrendered 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 1 walk, to go along with 8 strikeouts. The strikeout, perhaps not the hallmark of Tara Blanco's approach out on the rubber, but she has certainly been more strikeout prone in her recent outings. Maybe this Kent State lineup that has been so, well, just not good throughout the season might play into the fact that she's been able to get strikeouts against them. 21 strikeouts in 12 innings of work against the Golden Flashes and counting. They have touched her up a bit today, mostly through Maddie Grimm, who is 3 for 3. But outside of Grimm, only 1 hit given up to the rest of this Golden Flashes lineup. Allie Luther looking to change that, leading off here in the top of the 6th. Blanco winds, delivers. First pitch, curveball in there for a called strike on the hands above the belt. Infield and outfield straight away on Luther. 0 for 1. Reached base on what would have been a sacrifice fly to Christner out in center. The error allowed her to reach. And now a line drive base hit past Canfield into right field. Peters comes up firing for first base, but it's not going to be in time to get Luther, who is sprinting out of the box. So a leadoff base hit for the Golden Flashes here in the top of the 6th inning. That's going to bring up Brooke Dodson, the catcher. Dodson 0 for 1. A ground out back to the circle and a walk so far. Blanco gets the sign, winds, and delivers. Swinging a pop-up behind the infield. Going to be a tough play for Ramirez, but she ranges past the edge of the outfield grass to make the catch in shallow center field. Good jump, good read from Michigan's senior at that shortstop position. As steady as they come with the glove. And that's going to bring up Holly Spears, who replaced Jade Williams in the lineup. Some funky machinations with the lineup construction from Kent State head coach Eric Oakley. We'd expect nothing less. The first pitch, curveball called strike. Plenty of speed on that one, inner half. Thigh high to Holly Spears. Spears, a pop out to first, I believe, a foul fly out in her last at bat. Blanco winds, the 0-1. Curveball just misses off the plate away for ball 1. Infield double play depth against the righty Spears. Leads the team in home runs. Blanco winds. 1-1 on its way. Curveball called strike. Plenty of the plate there. Good location from Tara Blanco. 1 on 1 out, the count 1-2 now. The wind absolutely dead, even the flags above the grandstand behind home plate barely in motion. Blanco winds, the 1-2 swing and a miss, pitch in the dirt. Spears is going to be down on strikes as first base is not open for her to reach. That'll be the second out of the inning. Spears unsuccessful in her substitute role. A beautiful changeup from Tara Blanco, absolutely pulled the string. That brings up Maria Segletti. She's playing center field today. Blanco winds, first pitch on the way. Curveball called strike inside corner, really pounding that part of the zone. We saw Jen Cater in center field yesterday for the Golden Flashes, so this is Segletti's first action of the weekend. She is behind in the count, 0-1. Luther not necessarily a threat to go down at first base. The 0-1 on its way. Hard rise ball misses high for ball 1. One and one the count now on Segletti. Blanco checks her armband, taking her time, has slowed her pace out there in the circle. Twists, gets the sign, rocks back. The 1-1, swing and a miss. Segletti chases a high, hard one, well out of the zone. And she is now behind in the count 1-2. Good job by Blanco changing the eye levels, pounding it inside, pounding it up. And now has a chance to pound the glove of her catcher, Alex Subject, and get out of this inning unscathed. Top of the 6th, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Blanco winds, delivers, swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Maria Segletti. And that is double digits in the strikeout total for Tara Blanco. She's got 10, and she is through 6. The Wolverines still lead 8-3 over the Kent State Golden Flashes here on WCBN Sports' broadcast of Michigan softball. So the Wolverines, bottom of the 6th, they need 3 runs to force a run rule victory. It hasn't come easy since that first inning for the Maize and Blue. They've gotten some bright spots in the order, mostly toward the bottom. Ramirez in the 6th spot, Swearingen at 7, and Montemurano at 9. Each have 2 hits, all 2 for 3 on the day. Canfield, Christner, Falk, 1 hit apiece. Peters 0 for 2, Blanco 0 for 1, but she has reached base twice with a walk and a hit by pitch. Michigan will lead off with the top of their lineup as Montemurano made the final out of that last inning. Peters, a walk, a double play, which came via a, I'd say, poor call down the first base line by Brett Damaski. She is also grounded out to first base, it would appear. Home plate brushed off. Janelle Hayes will resume her spot in the circle. Her innings continue to climb even as her ERA remains static and actually drops, as she has been serviceable for sure against this Wolverines lineup. Peters steps into that lefty batter's box. Her batting average has taken a slight dip down to 369. 3 times 3, I guess. I don't know. That was a bad one. Anyway, first pitch from Hayes, off-speed breaking ball, misses the outer half. A little low, too. Ball 1 to Peters. Infield slightly in, but not overzealously so against the lefty slap hitter Peters. Hayes winds. Peters squares to bunt. I think she went at that ball. She offered at it. Might have been a called strike anyway. The count moves to 1-1 on Natalie Peters. Good location from Hayes. Really adept at finding that outer half. Hayes gets the sign. Peters back in the back of that batter's box. The 1-1 on its way from Hayes. Swinging a ground ball off the glove of the second baseman, Abeska. The throw to first, not in time. Peters beats it out. It was going to take a quick transfer from Abeska's glove to hand. She couldn't find it. So Peters aboard to lead things off here for the Wolverines. And that's going to bring up Faith Canfield.
Now the next Michigan, number 25, Faith Canfield.
Canfield 1 for 3 on today's game. First pitch from Janelle Hayes. Swing and a line drive, center field. It's going to be a tough play, but a grab made on the run by the center fielder, Segletti. She relays it back to the infield. Canfield got all of that one, but it wasn't quite enough to get past the Kent State defense. Hard luck for the Michigan second baseman, and it's the first out of the inning, and that brings Kelly Christner to the plate. Christner also has had some rotten luck today, 1 for 3. Has hit the ball hard, however. First pitch on its way. Curveball misses off the plate away for ball 1. Michigan up 8-3. 8 runs, 9 hits, 1 error by the Wolverines. Hayes winds, the pitch on the way. Christner lays down a bunt right in front of home plate, fielded by Dotson. The throw to first, not in time. It was in the dirt and bobbled anyway. Moving to third on the play is Natalie Peters. It's a bunt hit for Kelly Christner. And the game-ending run comes to the plate in Aiden Falk if she were to go yard. I don't think there is a single computer in this press box not tuned into the Michigan basketball game, and that has turned into a barn burner, as I'm sure all of you are aware. Falk at the plate, 1 for 3 today. Runners on the corners. Coach Carol Hutchins always willing to go with the double steal. We'll see if she does it here, or at least a delayed steal. First pitch on its way. Falk fakes the bunt. It is a double steal. Christner caught in a rundown. They're just going to chase her back to first base. Unsure if they'll rule that Falk offered it. I think she did. And the count now 0-1 on the Michigan junior first baseman. So Hayes back onto the rubber. Christner at first base. Maybe we'll straight steal this time around. We'll see. The 0-1 on its way. Swing and a line drive left field. That one spin on it off the glove of a leaping left fielder, Squirsti. It gets down. 1 run will score. Christner rounds third and heads and stops there. It's an RBI double from Aiden Falk. That had just such vicious spin as it tailed from right to left. We've seen Squirsti get tripped up by that tailing action off the bat of a lefty yesterday on Christner's fly ball. She made the catch then. This time, couldn't quite get her glove on it. And now the game-ending run down at second base. The Wolverines with a 9-3 lead. And at the plate is Tara Blanco. Nikki Wald will pinch run for Aiden Falk down at second base. So 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Aiden Falk with an RBI. I think that should go down as a double, as it would take an unusually difficult play for Squirsti to corral that one. Nonetheless, I'm sure it's a play she'll tell you she should have made. So Tara Blanco, 0 for 1. A ground out, a hard ground out back to Hayes, her last at bat. Hayes picked it from right beside her ear. So Blanco, all things considered, not a bad day at the dish, despite totals that might belie that. The wind's still dead here. The weather's still cold. And Blanco's still looking for that burst to get out of her slump. Ending the game right here might go a long way in that direction. Hayes on the rubber, looks into Dodson, gets the sign. She winds, delivers. Swinging a foul back to the screen. Big hack from Tara Blanco. Couldn't barrel it up. And these pitchers really are staying down and away from Tara Blanco. At some point, she's going to have to start just spraying line drives to right field that may not fit with her power hitter mentality. But she's got plenty of pop to the opposite field as well. And I think she knows that as well. Hayes winds. The 0-1. Curveball called strike at the knees, outside corner. At the very edge of the strike zone, that one was. Blanco, as patient as they come, she will not offer at pitches out of the zone almost ever until she's got 2 strikes on her. Hayes winds. The 0-2 pitch on its way, swinging a tapper foul on the right side. And There she goes, swinging at one out of the zone just to keep it alive, spoiling a breaking ball that was probably off the plate away, but too close to take. The count remains 0-2 on the righty Tara Blanco. Stands wearing a trademark open stance, feet wide apart. Plenty of power in those legs. Looking to put it together as part of a powerful swing. Hayes gets her sign. The 0-2 on its way. Hard curveball just off the plate away. The count moves to 1-2 on Tara Blanco. Hayes plays with the ball in her mitt. Now looks in, gets the sign. The 1-2 on its way, swinging a ground ball toward the right side, off the glove of the second baseman, Nebeska. It gets into shallow right field. One run will score. Scoring from second base is Nikki Wald, and the game is over. It is a run rule victory for the Michigan Wolverines on the error from Kelly Abeska. Not a perfect win for the Wolverines, but one that'll look the same at the end of the season. They will take it. We'll leave you with a half hour before the next game starts. So stay tuned for that one. You'll listen to that again on WCBNsports.org or on our YouTube channel. It'll be up sooner rather than later. In the meantime, take a break, get some food, watch some basketball, and just enjoy this Sunday afternoon. We'll be right back with you in about a half hour.
That is win